Hey everyone, welcome back to Sunday Leeds Champions League. Chris here, aka Big Will, and today it's just ticked over to the end of the season. We've started doing business already with Plymouth. We've sold Cuiabano, but Everton have offered us a job interview. Now, Everton, from a financial perspective and everything associated with them, are a much bigger club. They are in the Championship. They finished outside of the playoff places, but as a club, they have got much more going about them than we do here at Plymouth. Now, I don't know what the circumstances would be. When I look at my contract here at Plymouth, I'm on 12,2500 per week. They throw a lot more money around at clubs like Everton. Even though it's in the same division, it could be a very interesting proposition. We're going to attend the interview. They've got I mean, I'm just looking at everything in general. It's a much bigger stadium and everything. There's a lot that could be said for joining a club like Everton. Obviously, they're really happy to speak to us, otherwise, they wouldn't have offered us the interview. The initial reservation is associated around the fact that we don't have experience in steering clubs away from relegation, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think we've got a lot of experience in that. The only other thing, of course, is we've only been at Plymouth for a season and a half. Obviously, we have just decided to take up our option of um, doing the last coaching course and everything as well. So this could be a really interesting proposition. Um, so yeah, we'll just have to see how things go. Sorry, I completely had a brain fog then for a minute. Um, just reading the questioning that they're asking us. Managerial experience, last variety in your opinion. Only work with a small selection of teams. Well, I've not really had a chance to manage more than that. Why do you want to leave your current job after doing so much work there? I feel I've taken them as far as I can. To be honest, I think that is true. After the heartbreak of that playoff final, I don't know if we could do any better. Obviously, from a financial perspective, we've got 7, 8 million pounds to spend. It's not a lot of money, to be honest. Why have you felt it acceptable to apply for a number of jobs while employed? Um, I feel that's acceptable when you consider how long I've been in management. Probably, to be honest. I mean, we're trying to further our career always, so we'll see what happens from then. Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs right now? I'm merely considering my options. We want to ensure that the dressing room atmosphere is much better than it was under our previous manager. Can you ensure that there will be no problems? I think that is fine. I will make that promise. Previous manager didn't enjoy the best relationship with the supporters. Are you confident of providing a different dynamic with them? Um, I think, to be honest, realistically, I've done well at all the other clubs, so I've enjoyed a good relationship with any other club I've been at with the fans. Don't want to repeat of our last manager we had to part company with earlier than expected. Are you going to be around for a while? I've never once in my career departed after only a brief spell at a club. When they say that, I don't know what constitutes as a brief spell. Um, we'll go for the top one. Would you be comfortable working with Nick Hammond as our director of football? No, is the answer to that. I don't think he's good enough, to be honest. Um, I don't want to commit to working with him until I've had the opportunity to consider it further. We have no expectations for you to fulfill for the current season. Expectation and budgets will be set in the build up to next season if you are hired. That's fine. Any requests should they hire us? Nope. Obviously, we're on our final coaching course already. That's already been bought and paid for. So that is absolutely fine. Well, obviously, I did see a few jobs in the market. I've applied for them just for the sake of it, just because it's funny for some of them. I mean, the likes of Manchester City jobs available, Napoli, teams like that. I can't imagine I'd ever get close to those kind of jobs, but I just do it for the sake of it, just to put my name about, really. Um, Obviously, it could be a little bit of time before they get back to us, so bear with me, and we'll come back should we hear anything. And very earlier than expected, a change could be ahead. Well then, here we go. There's potential for movement here. Everton have offered us the job. Now then, transfer budget wise, it's very similar money. The expectation at Everton is to get promoted back to the Premier League. There's no leeway on that. Whereas with Plymouth, realistically, it's a much safer job. Now, in terms of the wage side of things, they've offered us a contract for 2,000 a week more than we're currently on. It's it's an interesting one. I have put my name in for a couple of other jobs as well. We've not heard anything regarding interviews on that, and the board have requested that uh, basically for me to speak to them as well. My contract is up at the end of next season. Realistically, they're going to extend that. I'm on 12 and a quarter thousand a week at the moment. It's not a massive pay increase, but the club is much, much bigger. And another thing I've got to take into consideration, whilst the transfer budget is very similar to what we've got here, the wage budget is astronomically bigger. I'm talking I mean, I'll just have a quick look at where am I? If I look at the recruitment budgets, where are we? Currently spending 374,000. We've got 86,000 available. So that's about 450,000. I mean, that is a huge amount of wages. And I had a quick look at the squad, incidentally, as well. There's a lot of players that want to leave the club. Massive sellable assets, but look at the wages the players are on. I mean, you look at a club like Everton playing that amount in relation to wages. I mean, it's like Tyler Dibbling there. You could sell him for £25 million, get 145 grand a week off the wage. Well, that alone is a third of our wage budget here at Plymouth. Incidentally, I looked at Xavier de Meyer as well. He's actually on loan from Chelsea. But I mean, the money side of things is astronomical. They've agreed to sign Brian Brobby permanently, which is ridiculous at the age of 31, and he's on massive wages as well. I mean, if you wanted to do a rebuild at the club, you'd be absolutely flying, wouldn't you? There's a number of players that want to leave the club, and realistically, I'm looking at Branthwaite. He wants to leave. His Premier League interest. You get £35 million for him with a year left on his deal, and 100 grand a week of wage budget. That sets you up for a season of spending. It's yeah, it's a very interesting job. We will enter negotiations for the minute, and we'll see what we can stretch it to. I mean, realistically, Plymouth aren't going to be able to offer me anything like that. I mean, they've shot it up even there. They've agreed to 18 grand a week. We're still in June, and Plymouth aren't going to be able to offer me that. I'm going to delay for a week, and just to see what kind of things crop up. I mean, 18 grand a week is a lot, to be quite honest. It's 50% of what we're getting paid added on at Plymouth, added on to the original wage. Obviously, um, We've got to attend this meeting as well. Um, but I don't know if we answer this, if it takes us out of the running for the Everton job. So what? Oh, I can't actually come out of this now. Oh, if I leave the meeting a minute. So I've attended the meeting, but I've not done anything. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to save that for a minute, just in case it's messed anything up. Um, I don't know if it will have messed anything up or not, because I didn't actually answer the board at all. Obviously, we've delayed Everton, but I don't know because I've come out of that meeting. Obviously, I'm saving it after it now, so I've probably messed it up even more. But I don't know because I've come out of that meeting if I'm going to get sacked or not. Because I know there was a bit of a glitch in the previous games where it did do that. But I'm still manager, so Everton have agreed to a delay. So we'll just have to wait and see for the moment. I can't envisage me staying at Plymouth at this stage, but I'll just see if any of the other jobs I've applied for come back for an interview and we'll go from there. Well, then, here we go. We have become manager at Everton. We delayed them for a further week. We didn't get any other interest. We did have contract discussions with the board at Plymouth. They couldn't really afford to up the ante quite as much as we got offered at Everton. So we have made the move. A little bit controversial, yeah, potentially. But I think Everton are in a position with the squad that they currently have that we could bounce straight in to the Premier League as soon as we find the tactical situation correctly and sort everything out with the squad. Obviously, there's a lot of big names still at the club from when they were in the Premier League. Jared Branthwaite that we looked at is a prime example. Um, they want to leave. So realistically, there's going to be a lot of money coming into the club and a lot of wages being released from that as well. There's a lot of players on big money for a championship side. So realistically, we've got to take a really strong look at it. We may make the squad worse in selling those players and trying to bring in replacements, but we need to be bringing in players that are happy at the club. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full treatment from everyone there. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of work to do with the backroom staff as well. Uh, when you're looking at the squad, there's a lot of work to do with it. There's a number of players that are leaving at the end of the season. A goalkeeper is going to be the first port of call. They won't actually have one come the end of the season. And yeah, realistically, there could be a lot of things happening. Jared Branthwaite wants to leave the club due to them getting relegated. Obviously, that happened last year, but there is an option maybe that he'd want to stay. There's quite a few players that are wanted, incidentally. Nathan Patterson, he wants to leave because the club went down. Um, there's a few other players that are just going to be leaving in general, and a few players that are wanted by bigger European clubs as well. Saidu, I mean, he looks like a very good midfield option, doesn't he? He's the kind of player that we may need to build a team around, but it's players like him, really good, solid central midfielder. He's on 15 grand a week. You're looking at likes of Branthwaite, he's on 100 grand a week and he doesn't want to be here. We're a championship team. We need to be a little bit ruthless with the wages. Jake O'Brien, 47 grand a week. He's still a really good defender, but he's 32 years of age now. There's a lot of older players in this club. Michaelenko, wages not too bad for him, but he's 34 years of age. We could be in for a very, very busy summer. Like I say, if we sell some of these players for big money, we could be in for a really big opportunity going forward. I mean, Fabian Muller, he's been in on loan, apparently. Is he in on loan for next season? Have they already signed him in on loan? Is there a way to view the contracts side of things? No, his loan deal comes to an end at the end of the season. He's a fantastic young midfield player. He's the kind of player that we'd want to sign permanently if we could. For relatively small wages, I'd like to hope as well. At the minute, we haven't got the finances that we can do that with. But again, I'm looking at the players further down here. Kangin Lee's going to be leaving. He's up contract is at the end. He was on 85 grand a week. Mudrick, he's 32. He's on 69 grand a week. And 145 grand a week for Tyler Dibling. If I get a 30 million pound bid for him and he wants to leave anyway, if we can get him gone, I mean that's a massive chunk of wages off the books. Brennan Johnson, he's quite happy at the club. He's on 90 grand a week though. And again, he's 32 years of age. You know, we've got to really try and sort this out. Justin Clark, his transfer listed, yeah, rightfully so. Tieno Barry, he wants to leave due to the club getting relegated. Again, 20 odd million pounds, 100 grand a week he's on, 30 years of age. Robbie's signing permanently. I mean, he's 31. And if they're going to be paying 125 grand a week, I'm not going to be happy, to be honest. And that was already pre-done, of course. But I'm looking at that squad, and as a starting point, we've got everything available to us to be a dangerous team in this division. Mudrick absolutely ruined us at Plymouth. I remember when we played against him. But realistically, I'm looking at that team and an out-and-out striker, yep, that is going to be required. Potentially some strength in depth on the wings, but we need some younger players to come in. I mean, Divine Dixon, currently loan listed, he's worth about £8 million. He could be the future of this team. Realistically, he's got a good amount of pace, really good personality and such. Technically not the best, but again, he could be the kind of player to build this team around going forward. And I'm very optimistic. I mean, again, some of the players are on stupid money. Ronnie Edwards is a fantastic defender, but he's on 90 grand a week in the championship. You know, we've got to trim this wage bill. That's going to be the key thing. And then it's finding really good players that are relatively good on wages, but that have got that quality to really knuckle down in this team. And I think being at a club of Everton's stature, we are more than capable of doing that. Obviously, in relation to the staff side of things, that will also take a little bit of time to sort out as well as we enter the new season. They finished ninth in the championship, so there were 6 points off of the playoffs. Um, but there is a very strong base there, and if there are players that want to leave, we can let them leave, to be honest. Tieno Barrett, he's been at the club a long time. He's a fantastic striker. In terms of his actual attributes on here, he is a very, very good striker. Um, but there's a lot of players that are relatively unhappy, obviously, because of the lack of promotion side of things. But Tyler Dibling, if he wants to leave, I'm not going to say no. He's a really good quality player. But for the wages in the championship, it's frightening. And Tieno Barry, I'll just have a quick look at his history, incidentally, to see what he's done goals wise. And to be fair to him, every season he's managed double figures. He's not been massively prolific, but he has managed double figures every season. So fair play to him. But I think it's time for him to leave as well. If he wants to go, I'm going to let him go. And likewise, some of these older players like Mudrick and co, they can all go as well. I mean, Mudrick, to be fair, he's still got plenty of pace about him. But we need to completely remodel this team. It's got a lot of older players in there. We need to try and get some young talent in to replace them and get things sorted. Um, Obviously, there's a few murmurs in the media about me coming to Everton, thinking that I might be biting off more than I can chew. And realistically, it could be true. I mean, finances are not great. 38 to 39 million in the red, which is why the transfer budget's so low. But when you look at the amount of money being spent on wages, if we can just overhaul that a bit with some quality players, I genuinely think we could be in contention to do really, really well this year. It'll be interesting for sure, and we'll have a proper look at everything after the trans part of the transfer window at least when the season comes good. And we'll get the first game and the transfer special as normal. Obviously, we've just had a quick look around the club. Staff wise, obviously, I'm not bothering looking. There's going to be plenty of things going on there. Um, we've got a lot of ins and outs that need to be done. Yeah, there's so many vacant positions at the club. We can get that sorted without a problem and potentially bring in better options than the ones already here. And in terms of the actual recruitment side of things, um, just having a quick look to see exactly what they've managed to do. I mean, I don't know where Mwanga is. I didn't see him in the first team, I don't think. But again, he's another 30-year-old. A few little free agents here and there. And I'm guessing these are all in the under 21s. Of course, that's a fair point. We haven't even looked at the under 21s team to see exactly where everything stands in that, have we? Adan Jashari, a massive sale of him last year, 30, well, £30 million practically. Plenty of loan deals. I mean, considering players want to leave, they've done well to keep the ones that they've kept. To be honest, they have made a few signings over the course of the season, but realistically, there's been nothing of major note. To be fair, um, I mean, Brian Brobby, he's a good striker. He will do well to replace Tieno Barry, but he's older than Tieno Barry for a start. He's a good quality striker, but yeah, I don't think he's going to do anything massive. Fabian Muller, he's the kind of player we want to try and bring in permanently if we can. Um, I will make an offer for him straight away. He's got a £21 million release clause. I'll be quite happy paying it, I will be honest. We'll just chuck that in. Obviously, we haven't got the money at the moment, but we could easily end up freeing up enough wages in the coming week and a half, 2 weeks, that we might be able to move plenty of money around to bring him in permanently. He is the kind of player that we need to build his team around. 20-year-old German international, could be the first major signing that we could make here at Everton. Um, but in terms of everything else, I'm quite happy to be at the club. To be honest, I think there's plenty of room to manoeuvre, plenty of good talents at the club. When you look at the average age of the squad, I mean, there's a lot of players. There's not really an in between section. There's a couple of players that are 25 years of age, one of which is transfer listed anyway. And then you're looking at realistically reserves that are aged 23 and younger. I'll have to do a full evaluation of the squad. We will have a quick look at the under 21s, incidentally, just to see what kind of quality we've got in here. I mean, yeah, there's nothing worthy of note, to be honest. A couple of players with really good potential. Jordan, Snowden, McCauley, arguably one of the better ones, but again, he's not going to really set the league alight. So, again, some decent wages being paid out even amongst the reserves, to be fair. 7 grand a week there, 6 grand a week there. If we can make money from some of these guys that aren't going to be key players in the future, I mean, Samani, he's out on loan at Portsmouth at the moment. We could sell him potentially for a couple of million. Robbins, potentially sell him for a couple of million. Although, to be fair, he looks quite decent. To be honest, he doesn't look too bad. Um, but again, his potential isn't the best. So he's 21 years of age. It's an interesting one to have a look at, to be honest. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a case of wait and see. Like I say, it's going to be a busy window either way, and we'll see what happens. But I think the squad needs thinning out a little bit. We'll get rid of the unhappy players, try and bring in some new players with real excitement to them, and we will move forward from there. And hopefully, a successful transfer window and a successful season will be ahead of us. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for your support. Please like, subscribe to the channel. It is all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time. This is Big Will, signing away.